You love your dog, right? Of course you do. They're family. And just like any family member, you want them to be healthy and happy. A big part of that is making sure they are eating well. Feeding your dog may seem straightforward, but it can actually be more complex than you think. Many pet parents struggle with feeding challenges, from picky eaters who turn their noses up at the bowl, to dogs who gobble down their food in seconds. These issues can be frustrating, but more importantly, they can also signal underlying problems or even lead to health concerns. That's why we're here today. In this video, we'll dive deep into the world of dog feeding, exploring common issues and, more importantly, finding solutions that work. We'll learn how to understand your dog's individual needs and create a feeding routine that keeps their tail wagging and their body thriving. Let's talk about those four-legged food critics, the picky eaters. You know the ones. They sniff their bowl, maybe take a bite or two, then walk away, leaving you wondering if you're serving food or torture. First things first, know that a little pickiness now and then is normal. Dogs are intelligent creatures, and just like us, they have their preferences. But when does picky eating become a problem? Well, if your dog consistently refuses food, loses weight, or shows other changes in behavior, it's time to take notice. There's always a reason behind the behavior, and it's our job as pack leaders to figure it out. One of the most common culprits is actually pretty simple: boredom. Think about it, would you want to eat the same meal day in and day out? Variety is the spice of life, even for our furry friends. Try introducing new proteins, switching up the kibble brand, or adding some healthy toppers like cooked chicken, fish, or veggies. Another possibility is that your dog might be dealing with an underlying health issue. Dental problems, digestive upset, or even allergies can make eating uncomfortable or unappealing. If you suspect a medical reason, a trip to the vet is always the best course of action. Now sometimes the issue isn't the food itself, but the environment. Dogs are sensitive creatures, and if they feel stressed or anxious during mealtime, they might avoid eating altogether. Make sure your dog has a calm, quiet space to enjoy their meals, free from distractions or competition from other pets. And remember, positive reinforcement is key. Praise your dog when they do eat, even if it's just a few bites. Avoid punishing them for not eating, as this can create negative associations with food. Remember, patience is key. It might take some time to find what your picky eater enjoys, but with a little detective work and a lot of love, you'll get there. On the other side of the spectrum, we have the canine vacuum cleaners, the ones who treat mealtime like a competitive sport. You put the bowl down, and it's gone in seconds flat. While it might seem cute or even impressive, eating too quickly can actually be dangerous for dogs. First and foremost, it increases the risk of choking or vomiting. When dogs gulp down their food without chewing, they're essentially swallowing large chunks, which can get lodged in their throat or come back up. Trust me, cleaning up dog vomit is not a fun way to end mealtime, but it goes beyond just the mess. Eating too fast can also lead to a condition called bloat, a life-threatening emergency where the stomach twists, cutting off blood supply. This is more common in large, deep-chested breeds, but it's a risk for any dog who eats like they're in a race. So, how do we slow down these furry speed eaters? Thankfully, there are some simple, yet effective strategies to try. One popular option is using a slow feed bowl. These bowls have ridges or obstacles that force dogs to slow down and work for their food, making mealtime more challenging and engaging. Another approach is to try feeding smaller, more frequent meals throughout the day. Instead of one large meal, break it down into 2 or 3 smaller portions. This not only helps with digestion, but also prevents that frantic hunger that leads to scarfing down food. Puzzle feeders are another great tool for slowing down mealtime and providing mental stimulation. These interactive feeders require dogs to use their problem-solving skills to access their food, turning mealtime into a fun and rewarding challenge. And just like with picky eaters, positive reinforcement plays a crucial role. Praise your dog when they take their time eating and avoid any pressure or competition during mealtimes. Remember, a calm and relaxed environment will encourage healthier eating habits. Now, beyond picky and speedy eaters, there are a few other common feeding challenges pet parents often encounter. Let's address these head-on and find some practical solutions. One issue is dogs who are expert food hoarders. You know the drill. They take a mouthful of food, walk away from the bowl, and stash it away for later, usually under the couch or behind a piece of furniture. While this is a natural instinct for dogs, especially those with a strong scavenging drive, it can be a bit frustrating for us humans. The key here is to understand the motivation behind the behavior. Are they feeling insecure about their food supply? Are they trying to bury their treasure to save it for later? Once you understand the why, you can address it more effectively. If insecurity is the culprit, make sure your dog knows they have a consistent and reliable food source. Feed them at the same times each day, and avoid any behaviors that might make them feel like they need to compete for their food. For those who like to bury their treasure, provide them with appropriate outlets for this instinct. Offer them puzzle feeders that mimic the challenge of foraging, or consider hiding treats around the house for them to find. Another common challenge is begging behavior. You know how it goes. You sit down for dinner, and those puppy dog eyes start staring at you, willing you to share your meal. While it's tempting to give in, especially when they're looking at you with such adoration, it's important to establish clear boundaries. Begging can quickly become a learned behavior, and if you give in even once, you're reinforcing the idea that begging works. The best approach is to ignore the behavior altogether. Don't make eye contact, don't give them any attention, and definitely don't slip them a bite under the table. Finally, let's talk about weight management. Just like humans, dogs can struggle with their weight, and obesity is a growing concern for our canine companions. An overweight dog is at a higher risk for various health problems, including joint pain, heart disease, and diabetes. If you're concerned about your dog's weight, talk to your veterinarian about a healthy diet and exercise plan. They can help you determine the appropriate caloric intake for your dog's breed, age, and activity level. Feeding our dogs is about so much more than just filling a bowl. It's about understanding their needs, their instincts, and their individual personalities. Just like us, every dog is different, and what works for one might not work for another. The key is to find a feeding routine that suits your dog's unique needs and lifestyle. This includes choosing the right type of food, determining the appropriate portion sizes, and creating a positive and stress-free mealtime environment. Remember, patience is key. It might take some trial and error to find the perfect balance, but don't give up. Observe your dog's behavior, listen to their body language, and be willing to adjust their routine as needed. And don't be afraid to seek professional help. If you're struggling with any aspect of your dog's feeding, don't hesitate to reach out to your veterinarian or a certified canine nutritionist. They can provide personalized guidance and support to ensure your furry friend is getting the nutrition they need to thrive. Creating a healthy feeding routine for your dog is an act of love. It's about nourishing their bodies, stimulating their minds, and strengthening the bond you share. Remember, you are your dog's advocate when it comes to their well-being. By understanding the why behind their eating habits, we can address any challenges with calmness and create a positive experience for both dog and owner. With a little patience, consistency, and the right approach, you can help your dog develop healthy eating habits that will serve them well throughout their lives. And remember, a well-fed dog is a happy dog, and a happy dog makes for a happy home.